Hey, dear friends, Craig Perry here from Sex Afflictions and Porn Addictions. And today I want to talk about the shocking link between posture and mood. I recently read an article in Fast Company. Oh, I forgot to say the shocking link between posture and mood, the sex addiction and porn addiction version. And let me tell you where this concept came from. So, in our 16-week intensive group program, every Wednesday night we do a mindfulness training. And we do this mindfulness training to one, accelerate the understanding of the concept of mindfulness, and to use that mindfulness experience to connect men into their bodies. And one of the things that we do is during that meditation. So here, picture this, right? You close your eyes, you're sitting, listening to my voice. I'm talking about a particular concept, maybe a part of you that feels small and insignificant. We're focusing on the small, insignificant part of you. And so we, during that exercise, we adopt a position of strength, chest out, back straight, lifting through the top of your head, or arms out by your side in this power position, right? Do it with me, right? Sit up nice and tall right now. Sit up nice and tall and take a nice big deep breath in, arms out, like see my I don't want to run over my dog, arms out by my side and look up, right? Just breathe here for 3, 4, or 5 breaths. You could stand up and do it. It'll even be more impactful when you do it standing up. So we would do that in our mindfulness training. And then, so because I want guys feeling that position of intestinal fortitude, position of strength, right? Feeling that physiology. It's so important to understand the physiology. Hey, Rob, what's up, my man? The physiology of your compulsive sexual behavior. And so then we do do it, right? Arms out, looking up, right? There's an expansion, right? You lift, even if you're in a bad mood. And so now let's absorb the posture of small, insignificant, right? And look at this position. Look at this position. This is assuming the position. What position are you in when you're watching porn, when you're masturbating, when you're lying, when you're keeping secrets? So this is where this concept came from. And then I later learned that there was a scientific reality that connects posture and mood. And so let me recap, right? So first, position of strength and a position of weakness. So create that phenomenon in your body. And here's, what I invite you to do. Next time you're feeling sad and depressed, pay close attention to your posture. According to cognitive scientists, and I'm going to put this link in the chat for those of you who are watching me live, welcome. And for those of you who are watching me after or listening to this as a podcast, I'm going to put the link in the comment section below. And so pay attention to your body. And according to cognitive scientists, according to this article, when you are sad and depressed, you'll likely be slumped over with your neck and shoulders curved forward and your head looking down. I was talking to a client this morning and he was sharing with me, the conversations that he was having with his wife. And I love this curveball. It's what was your posture? What was your physicality when you're having that conversation? She was upset at you for doing something and boom, right? He's in that one down power dynamic. He goes from successful business guy to the addict to the less than to the man who's done things to hurt his partner. So now, while it is true that you're sitting this way because you're sad it is also true that you're sad because you're sitting this way. The philosophy known as embodied cognition is the idea that the relationship between our mind and body runs both ways, meaning our mind influences the way our body reacts, but the form of our body also triggers our mind. And listen, if you don't believe me, let's do it again, right? Take a big breath, inhale, looking up to the sky, back is nice and straight. Big breath in, feeling that expansion on the inhale. And you listen, you can feel it like immediately, at least I can. And now assume the position. Weak, pathetic, loser, less than. It's not about displaying confidence. So here, this is a resource that I'll recommend. That and so Rob in the chat, right? He says whenever he's stumped over, he knows he's not feeling good, and that's so important. That's so important because when you are in that position triggers you to do something else. That position triggers you to do something else. So many people who are working on their addiction, their compulsive sexual behavior, whatever word works best for you, they're all interchangeable, is they think of it, this is a mental condition. They're going to see mental health professionals. They're going to see a therapist to work on their mental health issues. Remember this, and this concept is absolutely reinforced by this article, and that mental is physical and physical is mental. There is no mental without a physical component to it. And this article on posture that I invite you to check out absolutely confirms and demonstrates to you exactly what I'm talking about. So a woman named Amy Cuddy, Cuddy, did a popular talk 2012. Maybe I remember this. And basically what she said in that talk is that 2 minutes of power poses, arms up over your head, right? Power pose. I do this when I'm going for a walk. It's also good for my back and neck. And I just, boom. And it changes how you feel about yourself. This isn't about just displaying confidence to others around you. This is about changing your hormones, increasing levels of testosterone, and decreasing levels of cortisol, the stress hormone in your brain. And here's what a professor of psychology from Ohio State says. The brain has an area that reflects confidence. But once that area is triggered, it doesn't matter exactly how it's triggered. And it can be difficult between real confidence or confidence that comes just from standing up straight. These things go both ways. Just like happiness leads to smiling, but smiling also leads to happiness. Okay? So what I'd like you to do over the course of the next day is really pay attention to your posture, because emotions and thoughts affect our posture and our energy levels. Conversely, posture and energy affect our emotions and our thoughts. It is so important to embrace the physicality of your compulsive behavior. Because let's think about this now for a second. You get triggered. Let's use talk about two kinds of triggers. We'll talk about sexual triggers, and we'll talk about non-sexual self-esteem, not good enough, failure triggers, right? So what happens? What does it mean you've been triggered? It means there's an external event that has caused your body, your central nervous system, to react, okay? And there's an energy shift in your body, in this case, from positive to negative. Now, there's also negative to positive, but I'm talking about the positive to negative. And what's happening? So trigger, Oh, I saw an attractive woman. Now, listen, you're always going to see an attractive woman. It's what you do with that energy. But what happens? There's a physiological event that occurs that robs you of agency and control. And that's the part that we need to understand, that part of you. So there's an energy shift in the body from positive to negative. And then you automatically, instantaneously have thoughts. And that trigger, let me give you a couple of examples. Anger, your jaw gets tight. Your pain in your neck when you get upset. Sick to your stomach when you get triggered around telling a lie or maybe get caught in that lie. Palms get sweaty. Your arousal mechanism is touched. That is a physiological event. And that's what I want you paying attention to. Why? Because people who throw those negative thoughts into the trash can are less affected by them than people who had the same thoughts but symbolically put them in their pocket. It's this idea that it's not what we think that's important. It's how much we trust what we think. So over the course of the next few hours, the next few days, pay attention to your posture. And then when you're home alone and you're by yourself, I want you to assume the posture of weak. Assume the posture of small. Assume the posture of pathetic, of insignificance, of not good enough. Bring yourself to that place. Please don't stay there very long, and only do this if this feels healthy for you to do this kind of experiment. But go there and see what it feels like, and see what are your thoughts, right? And how do you feel? How do you feel? And notice, compare that posture to your acting out posture, right? When you've lost agency and control, cell phone, back hunch, shoulders rounded forward. See if there's a similarity between the postures that you're in when your agency and control is hijacked and you act out or do something that these other parts of you say you don't want to do. Lose control. A part's awakened, a part takes over. Pay attention to that physiology, the body position, and then pay attention to how it feels when you take a nice big breath in and like, boom, power position, like the professional wrestler walking into the ring, right? Just assume that position. Assume whatever position you think. I'd like you to do it now if you can. Let me know in the chat if you notice anything, if you feel anything. Let's see here, I can see. So, hold your hands up. It's a hand over your head posture. Maybe looking up to the sky. I call it the Shawshank. If anybody has seen the movie Shawshank Redemption, at the end of the movie, he climbs through the shit to get out, and his hands are up as he's being cleansed by the rain. He's in that power position. Find your power position. Find your power position. And, you talk about pain is a huge trigger for me. The only way to be successful is to change your relationship with pain. And let me recommend a resource for you, by the way. Dr. David Hanscom, Hanscome. His program changed my life. 7 car accidents, 6 concussion, fractured skull, low back surgery, on deck for neck surgery, ruptured my brachial plexus, losing 25% in my hand. My hand is actually physically decaying because of that nerve damage. I have a labral tear in my hip, and I have an inflammatory condition that mimics Lyme fibromyalgia called chronic inflammatory response syndrome. So my journey, my addiction to opiates, my downward spiral, a lot of it, Rob, had to do with my pain. And I'm not going to telling you, oh, look at, hold your hands up and everything's going to get better. But what you will find, especially after you read the book by Dr. David Hanscom and maybe even join his program, these little things add up. These little things just build on each other in this posture, right? You feel lighter, your chest is open, less tense, and all you did was put your hands up. It sounds ridiculous, but it works. It works. Little by little, inch by inch, bit by bit, you can do things to regulate your central nervous system in a healthy, constructive way. Is having good posture going to cure you? Absolutely not. Absolutely not. However, it is another tool in your quiver. And it's so important to have as many tools as possible when, poor Rob's got lupus, mixed connective tissue disease. So you can relate, brother. And here's the reality. Here is the reality. This was my reality, and I promise you, it is yours. You have far more control over your pain than you ever imagined. And you can change by embracing that power. You can learn to embrace that what you do have control over and have a massive impact. A massive impact. And mindfulness is so important. Just to give you, a monk back in 1967 was able to sit in lotus position after lighting himself on fire without flinching, because he had taken his mindfulness game to, a ridiculous level that is unattainable for most of us. And certainly it is one of the most morbid illustrations of this point, but it's a great illustration. The power of the breath, the power of mindfulness allowed this person to experience like the worst physical pain known to humans. So think about what you can do with your mindfulness practice and little tools, simple, keeping that hands up. Pay attention to your posture. Pay attention to your posture. I love these little low-hanging fruits. I love how I can feel my energy shift when I go from a power position, a position of strength. And I do this before any of my group calls, before I'm talking to someone who's interested in the program. I breathe, my hands up. I get this expansion, like I'm holding the world, this a superhero position, power position. And it helps. It absolutely helps. Does it make anything go away? No, but it will make it better. Hey, Truffle, so glad you're here, man. Quitting porn changed his life. So happy about that. Yeah, and you know what's interesting too about the porn thing in my world is, while I respect people's religious issues and objections to pornography, but that's something that they have to do, right? Your religion said it's bad, it's a sin, you can't do it. You can't do that. What I think is really neat to build on that is this choice to say, hey, I'm coming at this from a sex positive perspective. Porn is not making my life better. It's not connecting me with my partner. It's not enriching my life. I'm not watching things. I'm not learning moves. I'm stuck in a cesspool, a downward spiral of shame, and I feel that I'm stronger without it. And when you really think, and listen, not my bailiwick, but I can at least speak to the reality. Just think of the evolutionary impact of having to see more naked women in an hour than most of our ancestors were able to see in a lifetime. That we know that has an impact, don't we, brothers? We absolutely know that has an impact. Well, thank you. Practice your good posture. Pay attention to when you're sad and depressed, and notice your posture and see if changing that posture can make things just a teeny tiny little bit better. And get in that power position, and you will notice those feel-good chemicals will make you feel a little teeny tiny bit better. If you need more support, visit the website, www.themindfulhabit.com. For those of you who are joining me live, so awesome to see you. Look forward to my next live stream, my next podcast on sex afflictions and porn addictions. Feed the right wolf inside you and embrace your power of choice. Later, brothers and sisters.